Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Well, that horrible decision by the Department of Home Affairs here in Australia not to provide a humanitarian visa to that family who were horribly abused by that African fellow who's now serving 173 years in jail is certainly starting to gain traction here in Australia. It's appeared in one of the major newspapers. I'm attaching a video here which shows a discussion about this very subject, and there's a sense of outrage that's growing here in Australia. And it's not just among the expat South African community. Everybody can see there's something very, very wrong in this decision. I can tell you now that I've had several emails from people who are going to be contacting the members of parliament today, and they're going to be putting the boot in and saying to these guys, hey, wake up, this ain't right. So let me just underscore that there's a growing voice of people here in Australia who are taking issue with this decision. And it's going to, if anything, it's going to bring the whole issue of what's happening in South Africa into the media focus, hopefully. And if it does that, then that is a very, very positive thing. Look, I'm not going to burble on anymore. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates, and have a great evening.
While the Home Affairs focus is back on the asylum seeker issue, and Australians or asylum seekers trying to get to Australia via weakened Medivac laws, this is not the only immigration story that needs to be covered. You will recall the debate in recent years regarding the brutal attacks on white farmers in South Africa and calls for them to be able to access humanitarian places to emigrate to this country. Well, this week, the Australian newspaper highlighted the case of Nikki, a woman from a farming family who was violently raped and shot in front of her 3 children in a farm attack last year. And despite applying to start a new life with her husband and her children here in Australia, they were rejected. Last year, when there was a lot of focus on the crimes being committed against white farmers, government ministers and many others expressed sympathy. So to hear of a rejection like this is disappointing, to say the least. Joining me tonight for an update on the situation in South Africa and what conversations are occurring with the Morrison government to assist families like Nikki's is Brisbane businessman Arno Nell. Now, just to remind viewers, Arno lived in South Africa and his parents were victims of a farm attack in 2013. Since that time, he's taken on the role of advocating for these farmers here in Australia. Welcome to the show, Arno. Great to have your company again. I want to start with the issue of Nikki. Look, this case is harrowing. Raped in front of her children, all for being a white farmer in a country where she no longer feels safe. I understand you spoke with her yesterday. What can you tell us?
I spoke to Nikki yesterday. I think I'd first like to say thank you. Thank you for highlighting this again. I spoke to Nikki yesterday, and her whole family is devastated. They went for their interview as part of the process, and even the interviewer in Pretoria was in tears when this interview was done. So they were really hoping that they can come to Australia, that they can come and make a new life for them here. And at the end, what she was told is that because she's a strong woman, because she opted not to go and sit in a camp somewhere, but because she opted to try and keep life going for her and her family in South Africa, that is one of the reasons why they didn't approve her application. And for us as South Africans living in Australia, as Australians with family in South Africa, it's devastating that after what was said last year, after the Liberal Party made it, they have got a decision in their national conference to assist minorities from South Africa. We can't believe that this was rejected, because if this is rejected, what will be approved? That is our question.
Well, I have to say, a lot of people watching this show will be gobsmacked it was rejected. They won't believe that these are the circumstances now that don't meet the test of a well-founded fear of persecution, which is the UN test for a refugee. I can't see how someone like Nikki and her family don't meet that test. I might say her attacker was given 2 life sentences and a total of 173 years in prison. Most Australians would applaud a sentence like that. We never see sentences like that in this country. But we know these attacks happen time and time again, and once you put one perpetrator behind bars, others will replace them. I looked at some statistics today, 203 farm attacks, including 23 murders in South Africa this year. Arno, what conversations are you having, or are organisations like yours having with the Australian authorities, the Morrison government, and what can my viewers do to assist?
Well, first to correct you, it's actually 205 farm attacks already. So there's 2 more since you looked at the stats. And we've been talking a lot to the Liberal Party, to Minister Peter Dutton about this, and we've been hoping for much better results than what's happened now. In the election, the South African community, expat community, did not just support the Liberal Party, we actively campaigned for the Liberal Party, and we hope that Prime Minister Scott Morrison will live up to the decision of the Liberal Party to assist not just farmers but also our families. Recently there was a case in South Africa where a young couple actually ran out of fuel next to the road, and they stopped, and they were murdered next to the road while they were witnesses. There were black people that witnessed this. So people came in, they were abused, and they were shot because they were white. And that is the situation that we live with for our family in South Africa, and we are in discussion with the government and asking them to look at any Australians' family that are living in a country where violence is of this nature. We work here, we live here, we pay tax. We try and build the country for not just myself, but for my child and my children, my son. And we are saying, what about our family? Yes, other refugees are welcome in Australia, and we would hope that our families would be welcomed as well. And because we are here, we are part of this country. I'm not a South African citizen anymore, I'm Australian. And I would like to bring my family here.
Yeah, look, we know the record of many of the South African, particularly the farming community. They come here, they settle in regional areas, regional towns, they farm the Australian land, they give back pretty quickly upon arrival in this country. And, that's what government policy, stated government policy says that it wants to see from immigrants to this country. Just before we go, how can my viewers help? Is there a petition they can sign? Is there a place that you have more information that they can get engaged on doing what they can, lobbying government to support people like Nikki?
I think what we're asking from the community is to, in their discussions with any of their members of parliament, to also say that they support South Africans coming here. They support that people, give us, if you come to Australia and you work hard and you help build the country, surely you should be tapped on the shoulder and said, well, we're going to reward you, we're going to allow you to bring your family here. And as long as people show that commitment and that support, we believe that it will happen. People don't realize, we get told you can apply for your family, a balance of family visa. What people don't realize, it could be 50 years before it's approved. So there's sometimes visas that get told to people and say you can utilize these, but the reality behind these visas are that it could take 10 or 20 or 30 years before it's approved.
All right, Arno, I'm going to stay right across this issue, and the next time I'm speaking to Peter Dutton, I'll certainly raise it. I'll raise it privately, but I'll also raise it here on this show, and I'll put this information up on my Facebook page so people can share it with their friends and family to lobby their local MPs. Thank you very much for your time tonight, and all the best wishes from this end in Australia back to Nikki in